Welcome to Refirement Life, the podcast for anyone navigating life transitions or planning to make life transitions to ensure your next years are your best years. Listen in for insightful, generous, and sometimes humorous conversation. It's time to get fired up with Christine Zamuda and Muge Wood, your hosts for this latest episode of Refirement Life.
Today is a very special episode, and we're going to talk about this topic: why longevity without health isn't the goal and what to do about it now. And this isn't just about getting fit. This isn't just about eating the right things. It's more of a mind shift. And I'm excited to take you all through both some thought-provoking questions to make this very personal for all of you, and of course spend some great time with Muge, your favorite co-host. Hi, Muge.
Hi there. Hi, Christine. Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. It's great to have this conversation that Christine very thoughtfully yet again put together an amazing outline and conversation topic for us. And as always, starting the new year is a poignant time for us to think through what we want to do and how we want to experience every day. So looking forward to it.
Awesome. So we've had quite a few sessions on thinking about retirement differently, thinking about how to use your days in the best way. And most of us are planning for a long life, and we think about the financial aspect, and that's really, really important. However, we've all also probably have seen real life stories of people who plan for retirement well, seemingly well, and then weren't around to enjoy it, right? We've seen situations where maybe people had planned to travel the world, and while they encountered some health limitations, which really upended all of their plans. So we're going to talk about today, just putting this in perspective. If your body stopped cooperating tomorrow, what plans would disappear?
Yeah, that's a big one. I think right away my inbox would disappear. This quest to try to catch up with email, Teams pings, correspondence, especially work correspondence, and so-called deliverables, they would probably fade. They would probably fade quickly. And what would come into prominence is just spending most time I can with family and friends, which we are coming off a period where we have hopefully done that during the holidays. But I think that rush to be productive in whatever it is that we are taking on may fade quite a bit at that point. What do you think, Christine?
I completely agree. And you get a little glimpse of that when you travel and you see other cultures living life much differently than we do in the States. And I guess like what we want to really ground people on is, and not to be like completely afraid, but just to have some awareness, right? And when we can make decisions that are positive, that really help us get the most out of life, to do those now. What we've learned is that while life expectancy is rising, and people were thinking, like the average life expectancy now is like 10 years later, I could live till 86, 90, and I'm planning to do that. But the challenge that a lot of people aren't talking about is that the healthy life expectancy is not keeping pace. In fact, in the United States, and maybe this is, one of our problems with the way we live, there's a 10 to 12 year gap between living and living well, meaning your healthy years are not necessarily in abundance. We have to really think about, and healthy means everything from, being able to, walk up a mountain, or, beyond just being alive, like being mobile and being active, right?
Yeah, that's very true, and I think we definitely are on a quest for longevity, and there are a lot
Mhm.
of medical advances that help us do that. But then the next layer, like you said, Christine, is how do we spend that time? My husband and I have been talking about this a lot, and what he read was the healthy lifespan on average is 67 years old.
Mm.
And when you consider average retirement could be 65, more or less, that's not a whole lot of time between retiring and doing your golden years, that bucket list, so to speak. Now, these are averages. They're always, outliers, but 67 is not probably earlier than we think. And then you add, like you said, 10 to 12 years of a chapter in your life where you may have to navigate a lot of health challenges. That's not very fun. So it is really, I think, a big topic. When we talk about later stage of life, we talk a lot about finances. A lot
Mhm.
of advice that is around there for retirement is around financial capability, which is very important. And I think there has to be an end to that discussion. Living in optimum health to the best
That's
of
right.
your capabilities. Just really, really huge. And then I think for those of us who may have experienced aging parents, and the potential health challenges, whether it's cognitive or physical, and you see this, and it really makes you wonder what we are wishing for and how we want to spend our time. Again, to your point, not to be morbid, pessimistic, and down, but really processing all of this. And I think in the United States, we are in a very prosperous state in general, but the pace, the environment is different. So,
Mhm.
and that's not always, I think, conducive to uh, organic living, so to speak.
Yeah, agree. And even thinking about, retirement and what you're going to spend when, a lot of people have that, 4.5 rule where they take 4.5% of their nest egg and that's their budget for the year. But not all years are equivalent, especially in your later years, if you're not going to be, excuse me, as mobile, as able to do things, you probably want to do your travel sooner than later. You probably want to make sure you're prioritizing family, and that takes some planning to get people all together, especially as the kids get out of college and everybody's living in different places.
Yeah, very true. When we were meeting with our financial planner, they characterized these chapters saying, soon after you retire, it's like go-go years. You are
Hmm.
going, you're enjoying, you are doing all these things with the freedom you experience, and then you go into slow go. Pace drops a little bit, and then you go into no go. And
No
I'm
go.
like, okay, this is really depressing me already. But they were trying to depict the financial planning you may need to consider for those years. And there's definitely a transition. And for some, maybe it's not. Maybe you are going to be 93 years old, and you will be the person who is going to be working, teaching, and being the crossing guard. But then maybe then you won't. So I think it's just really important to consider that and what it means for the present.
Yeah, yeah. Just to think about this, the wealth effect disappears when health disappears. We've said this before, your health is your wealth. This certainly rang true for me this past fall with Paul, having a stroke, recovering from a stroke, and I'm kind of looking at him and all the plans that we had and now still have, but I'm thinking we're going to travel to Japan in May. Are we still doing that? Well, yeah, we are, because he's doing well, and we don't know what tomorrow will bring. So we're gonna try and have those memories and make sure, of course, we're getting all the right medical care and and such so that he can enjoy the trip. But it's like I didn't want to lose that perspective coming out of that situation, that all time is precious, right? And what we do with it is so very important. We do have a quiz that I want our listeners to kind of make this bring this back to their own situation and really hopefully evoke some thought and perspective. So we're going to just ask you all at home to keep score mentally. For each question, we want you to just think about yes, no, or not sure. And we'll have maybe some dialogue in between. So the first one is really focusing on your energy and what you have in the tank. And the question is, if you had a completely free day tomorrow, do you have the physical energy to do something active and something social without needing recovery time?
Well, it depends on what we are doing, Christine. I mean, and then you add without needing recovery time. I'm like, I don't know. Yes, maybe.
And even that perspective might change, a decade from now, 2 decades from now. Right now, we probably don't need a lot of recovery time. I don't know. We might be playing tennis for a couple hours, doing a tennis social, depending how long that social goes. I don't know. But yeah, it's this is kind of an easy question just to ease into the idea. All right, the next question is postpone joy. Is there something meaningful, a travel, a trip, a hobby, time with people that you've told yourself you'll do after retirement? And would that plan still work if your mobility or stamina were cut in half?
Yes, I would love to watch a lot more TV. No, just kidding. Yeah, good question, right? Yeah. It's always when I have time, I will do ABC, and then you may never have the time, and when you have the time, maybe not the opportunity. So
yeah. This one I thought a lot about, like friends that I'm very close with. Family, I think we as a family and an extended family on both sides do a really good job of getting together on holidays, getting together on vacations. And I'm always also thinking of like my favorite people in life, and I'd really like to spend more time with that person. And oh, well, they're still working. We'll do it when they're done working, right? Or, well, it's not going to work this year, maybe next year. But maybe there won't be a next year. So it's time to get some of those plans on the table. Now, this next question is about health versus money. So in the past year, have you spent more time thinking about financial security than protecting your long-term health?
I think there's an expression for this that really hits close home as we age, which is the roughly first half of our life, we chase money, which is obvious. We are building our lives. The second half of the life, we use the money to chase health. So how do we balance these things? Something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. And most people don't realize when they're in that rat race that they're making that trade-off. They're just doing, and to your point of being productive and all the planning and focusing maybe more on the financial, that they're missing the bigger picture. This is the next question. This is focused on movement. So could your current body comfortably handle a 2-week trip that involved walking uneven terrain or long days? So think of a hiking trip. 2 weeks of hiking.
No.
I probably wouldn't hesitate either. Like, I'm thinking, where are my comfortable shoes? How long do we have to do this for? What's at the end of the trip?
How long do we have to do this for? What are the supporting amenities? Are we stopping? Is there Starbucks nearby? Do we have access to a spa? But yes, I get the point. And one image for me is, when you travel, especially in Europe, you see the tour buses and elderly maybe stepping out with their walkers and other assisted aid. And when I look at that, I'm like, one, great that they are here to experience, but second, could be even greater if you experience this either earlier with more mobility. It just makes you think. your range of motion. I think you need to optimize your well-being and joy, no matter what the situation is. But then the type of experience available to you and how you experience is subject to change out of our knowledge.
Yeah, coming off a flight to Florida and seeing like 30 people in a wheelchair coming off. I to your point, I'm like, well, glad they can still travel, but wow, like that makes everything a lot more difficult when you're, trying to get from point A to point B. The next one is about social resilience. So if work disappeared tomorrow, do you have at least 3 relationships that would naturally fit in that space?
Great question. Great
Mm-hmm.
question.
Yeah, so much of our time is spent at work. I realized transitioning myself that this was really interesting for me. It was interesting too, like some of the friendships that I've held on to and some that aren't there as much, that were just work related. But yeah, you definitely have to make more of an effort to be focused and thriving without just work that's just there. You're talking to people every day. Yeah.
And I think being intentional about it really pays off. For me, pandemic was a turning point of a moment of reckoning in terms of health, the importance of social connections. That's when I picked up tennis as a friendly outdoor sport that allows you to socialize. But, it really pays dividends. And I think the point there is maybe you do, maybe you don't have the relationships you want, but it is never too late to cultivate them. I think there's immense beauty in lifelong friendships, a person you knew from high school, elementary school, etc. But I think you can still have very meaningful and joyful relationships with the people you could be meeting, maybe for not very long. So it's definitely worth investing in. And Christine, to your point, it's the work relationships are interesting because people who you think are in your close circle, when the work is taken away, that may or may not persist. So so it's just really nice to invest in that outside of work, regardless.
Yeah, agree. And what you had said earlier about having, different groups of friends and being open to friendships and later in life kind of struck a chord with me too, because I think about the groups that I have that are so different from each other. And if you just sat in the same group, your world's limited because those people only know those things. You probably get in a routine with those folks, which is great and fun. But having the opportunity to just learn more about the world through others' experiences and be brought into things that wouldn't naturally be in your way is super, super cool and continues to help you from a point of social connection.
Yeah, it really enriches life. And we talked about this a lot, Christine, in our prior episodes, portfolio life. And I think portfolio of relationships as well. Some people have known you for a long time. Some people you have recently met, different experiences. I know you have a very vibrant circle across tennis, art, and your pursuits of coaching, etc. It just makes it richer. Because otherwise, I think I've been through there when earlier stage, a lot of my friends were only work friends. And great relationships. I cherish them and I stay in touch with several, but the conversations, honestly, are a little singular.
Right.
And you get pulled in to talk about work.
Yeah.
More often than not. So if you want to change your vista, diversify your portfolio, broaden your relationships too.
Yeah, I like that. This one's on medication and just overall health. So are you currently managing a health issue or relying on medication that you assume will just be handled later? So this one's a little tricky. I think it also gets a little frightening when you read all of the side effects of certain medications. We see those on TV all the time. But this could apply to someone who's like, well, eventually I'll lose that weight and maybe I can come off this medicine or that medicine. And yeah, just something to think about. So
there's propensity for medication to increase potentially. But then medication or not, I think the joy and the daily experience that comes from all the things we talked about, concern for your health, for your relationships, for how you are spending your time, just adds to the quality of life, and hopefully decreases or eliminates the need for long-term medication. But yeah, there's propensity of that for sure as we age.
Yeah. So as we talk through those questions, there's no absolute guide of, hey, if I scored 3 yeses, it means this. The point of this exercise was really just to make you a little uncomfortable, to think about what changes can I put in place today, or at least start to make those changes, because it takes a while to make good habits. But at least your plan's in place to think broader, beyond financial planning, and put some of these plans in place to really maximize the health span we have as opposed to lifespan.
Health span and joy span.
I like joy span too.
Yeah, I like joy span too. So along those lines, Christine, I will give you a question and have you think about it. What are you planning to do in the new year to continue to elevate the joy in your life? So I'll give you a minute to think about it, and then I will say I am stretching myself a little bit. It gives a uncomfort, but it's in a good way. So I signed up for pickleball and Pilates at the gym near us. And the challenge here is it's a 3-hour experience. And I'm like, that is a lot of fitness right there. Now, I'm sure it's not all going to be fitness. It's going to be 1-hour pickleball, then combined with Pilates, yoga, followed by a drink. And a friend will come join me. I'm like, okay, this just seems like a lot, but yeah, let's give it a try. And then there's exit strategy to the cafe. If it gets to be too much. So I am looking forward to it, but it is a variation of the things that I enjoy doing in a different way. So it's kind of a bit challenging. So we'll see how it goes. How about you? Any challenges you are taking on?
I have them, but first I just want to congratulate you on Pilates and pickleball. I think you'll enjoy both. I was fighting pickleball for a long time, but I do play it along with tennis, which is still my favorite. And Pilates is so great, like for strength training and core and all of that. So awesome. I can't wait to hear how you experience it and what you think. For me, I found, especially over the last 4 months with just Paul's recovery and my time was pretty limited, I was really missing painting. So I've gotten back in the studio, I think 3 times now, and now starting to like get it, back every week. And it's such a great outlet for me. I just love to create. It's my happiest place. And it was just a good experience for me to know what I was missing. And then in addition, one of the things that I'm trying to do, and I have failed at this before, but I'm going to try to learn how to play the guitar. And I've been doing fairly well on learning Italian with the Duolingo app, and found the Gibson app for learning guitar and started it and broke a string the first day. But I think it's still something that I can do and just pick up and, do it 10 minutes at a time a day and see if we can build from there. So that's my new thing.
Wow, that is awesome. I'm looking forward to hearing that because that's what's missing right now from my portfolio, a musical dimension to it. I do want to learn maybe how to play the keyboard,
Oh,
but
good. We
I'm
could
a
be a
little
band.
intimidated. Yeah, I know. We just need a drummer. But I'm intimidated as usual, given experience, can't really read music. So it's one of those things that is a little bit on the horizon. I pushed out, not because of lack of time, really. It's more the motivation. But I'm encouraged by what you are taking on, Christine. So maybe we can form a band with music only we are willing to hear. But would love that.
I'll start working on the name. It's all about branding.
It's all about branding. It's all about branding. We need the name, the image, and start creating some posters for our debut. Friends and family, get ready.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Earplugs at the door.
I can tell you, at a minimum, we can deliver 2 performances, one in Houston, one in your area. So, and we can call it a US tour.
I love it. All right, we're definitely going to plan that. All right,
That's
so
right.
let's wrap on the topic. So, really, the focus of today's discussion is really to help everyone move from awareness to agency. And planning for using those great years from a health span perspective doesn't really mean predicting the future. It really is all about acting now, right? These days and months and weeks and years go by fast. So things to think about: prioritize movement over optimization. Like, doesn't have to be perfect, just do something, right? Designing days that reduce stress, not just increase efficiency. We've been doing yoga, Paul and I. It's been pretty cool. We've been enjoying it.
Wonderful.
And I will say, it's not the typical yoga that I would sign up for. The typical yoga I would sign up for is like strength training and be like, hold those poses and fast flow. Like, I always wanted to
those
get
can be really intense. Those yoga flow and warrior sculpt and all that.
Yes.
Those are intense. Yep,
Yes.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I have to say, I found so much joy in it just relaxation that I probably knew or didn't know I needed through these slow flow classes that are about breathing, about meditation, about long stretches. And we come out of there, we feel so great. I never realized that could happen. Mm-hmm. So recommend that. Other things: investing time in relationships, obviously, is something we talked about. And then I think you nailed it, Muge, with the joy span, making space for joy now and not later.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think as we especially age, that's a filter when possible, right? We still have responsibilities. Not everything brings joy. Like, I'm going to go renew my driver's license. Is that the most joyful activity I could be doing? Probably not, but it has to be done. But I think just applying that filter, especially when we have choice, is a big thing. I love hearing about the yoga. I heard about puppy yoga that's also now being popular. So something to think about. Could be chaotic. But I know exactly what you mean. Even with things that can bring relaxation, it can sometimes turn into a competition with ourselves. In our gym, they offer this yoga session called Surrender. So it's the more relaxing, slower, take time for not just to build strength, but to relax. And I look at it, I'm like, why would I do that? Why would I just go lie down at the gym when I could be on the elliptical? But then when you do it and you realize what a great balance it introduces to your life. So awesome to hear. Thank you for sharing. But I do challenge you to do the puppy yoga or the goat yoga as well.
Yeah, I don't know. They were advertising puppy yoga around us, and they had bulldog puppies, and they're pretty darn cute.
Yeah, that's right. Just saying.
All All right. So for our listeners, we ask you to reflect on just one question. What are you postponing for someday that quietly depends on your health? And what would that look like to bring 10% of that thing you're postponing into your year? Start with 10%, maybe then you get to 20, then you get to 30, and all of a sudden you're doing some great stuff.
One small step is probably the hardest one to take.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so worthwhile. So, Christine, as we wrap up, thank you so much. As usual, you gave me much to think about. And I don't know if I should be having this conversation in the beginning of my workday, because now I am like, I need to go introduce some joy. Should I even be doing this?
Be the joy bomb at work. Start asking people, like, what are you going to do to make your life more joyful?
Yes, like right now. That's right. That's right. Ask that question. And if you forget it, put it on a Post-it note. Make sure it's in your face. So, right. Yeah, thank you, Christine, as always.
As always, great to see you. And with that, we will sign off until next time.
Thank you for listening. Our hope is to spark a little joy, inspire, and educate our listeners in ways to live an even more meaningful life. If you have reactions to share from what you've heard, please visit our website, refirement.life, to leave a voice message. You may even be featured in a future episode. To keep in touch, subscribe to our podcast, Refirement Life, using the podcast player of your choice. Always remember, you are never too old to set a new goal or to dream a new dream. Thanks again for joining us on this episode. Until next time.